Thank you, ma'am. And can we have Michael Armijo to the podium, please? Good evening, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Michael Armijo, 10/03/1998.
Thank you, sir. And do I have counsel on the line for Mr. Armijo?
Yes, Judge. Michael Tamu.
Thank you, counsel. And do I have the state on the line?
Yes, Your Honor. George Kellerman from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office. Good evening.
Thank you, everyone. We are here today on a new Superior Court case. It does include one count of child sex trafficking with a minor the age of 15 to 17 years of age, a Class 2 felony, one count of sexual conduct with a minor, a Class 2 felony, and one count of luring a minor for sexual exploitation, a Class 3 felony. Counsel, do you intend to discuss probable cause, release conditions, or both?
Release conditions, Judge.
Thank you, counsel. Probable cause has been found in this case, and counsel in this case has filed an entry of appearance, so I will note in here that you are represented by counsel, and I will not appoint an attorney today based on that entry of appearance. I'm going to set a couple of hearings here. We're going to have a status conference May 29th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing June 2nd at 8:30. Those are both going to be in the downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street. Next, we're going to discuss the release conditions. Counsel, for Mr. Armijo, did you get a copy of the state's recommendation?
I did not.
Okay. Mr. Kellerman, would you mind putting the state's recommendation on the record?
Certainly, Your Honor. And Your Honor, I simply would like to correct that the sexual conduct with the minor, I believe, should be a Class 5 felony because the minor was 15 or older.
Thank you for that, counsel. I will update that.
Right. The other classifications are correct.
Thank you so much.
And the state's recommending a cash bond of $150,000 with electronic monitoring as required by statute, no contact with any minors. The state believes that he's a danger within the community because, as indicated in the Form 4, he has apparently masturbated in his car in public areas, in public view on at least 2 occasions. One was in the Fry's parking lot where an adult female observed him, and the other time was in the high school parking lot where 2 students observed him doing it. And then, as indicated in the Form 4, he solicited someone who he clearly knew had to be under 18, informed her he was a senior, which he is not, paid her to have sex. So the state does believe he poses an extreme danger within the community, especially to minor females. And so, as the state has already stated, we're requesting a cash bond of $150,000 and statutory electronic monitoring. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. And counsel, for Mr. Armijo, would you like to put your request on the record?
Yes, Judge. We're requesting a bond of $50,000 secured appearance. We understand that the nature of the crimes are very serious. However, we also ask the court to consider the bond is not intended to punish, but more so simply to ensure the defendant appears for the court date. And at this point, Mr. Armijo is 26 years old. He has no prior felony convictions. He's not a flight risk. He's a resident of Arizona with strong ties to the community. He has stable living arrangements and family support available. When he was contacted by law enforcement, Mr. Armijo cooperated fully. He didn't run, he didn't hide, he didn't evade. He voluntarily spoke with the police. And when he went to the station, he went without hesitation. I think that conduct shows that he's willing to go to every appearance and take every appearance and every proceeding seriously and face them head on. I'd also ask the court to reconsider the most serious allegations that are still under investigation. Much of the case relies on the statements of the individual that made them and the victim. I do want to correct the state. He did not state, the 4-4 doesn't state that he said he was a senior. It's that she thought he was a senior, which I think is a big distinction. But I think that much of the case relies on those statements, and the fact that she was stated that she was only 80% certain, although she made very, very specific statements about what occurred. There's no confirmed DNA at this point. Mr. Armijo has consistently denied most of the serious allegations. I do believe that reduced bond is more of a reasonable amount, 50,000 secured. With the ankle monitoring, obviously with these type of offenses, ankle monitoring would be mandatory, as the state did indicate. And as I stated before, Judge, the whole point of a bond is to secure their appearance. And I think $50,000 secured bond with ankle monitoring is more than enough, considering that he did voluntarily speak with the police and he didn't run or hide or evade. So for those reasons, we'd ask our request be granted.
Thank you, counsel. Sir, so there are 15 factors in the statute that I have to consider when I'm setting bond here today. And some of those do include your risk of failing to appear, like your counsel has mentioned. But there are some additional things that I have some concerns about. I have some concerns about the nature and circumstances of the offense that you're being charged with. I have some concerns that you pose a danger not only to the community, but specifically to minor females. At one point, you were contacted by the police department in which they questioned you about an instant in a Fry's parking lot in which you denied. After that, you still went to another parking lot and were accused again of that same behavior, but this time in front of minor children. And because of my concerns regarding the danger you pose to the community and again specifically to minor females, I am going to impose a cash bond of $100,000. If you post that bond, you will be released to pretrial services and you will be equipped with an electronic monitor before being released into the community. You will have written conditions of release you'll need to comply with. That does include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime. You may not have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You are prohibited from having any contact with any minors and using the internet through any electronic means. All of this information will be included in your paperwork. Did you have any questions, sir?
I have a lot, but...
And your attorney is on the line, so you may want to be careful what you state on the record here. It is being recorded. So, counsel, if you want to caution your client on anything
Yes,
he may say, you're welcome to do that.
If I may, I apologize. There's a little bit of a delay. Michael, I'll be able to answer all of your questions. I will schedule a meeting with you as soon as I'm allowed to. But for right now, we'll go ahead and I'd rather you reserve your questions to me directly.
Okay. I want to say I'm not a threat to anybody. The situation I'll definitely talk with the attorney on, but I feel like I was more of a target than I was targeting anybody, based on the conversations I had with the lady in the parking lot or at the school.
Michael, I think that that's something that we should discuss because the judge is not going to make, is not going to change the decision at this point. We should discuss this in person or between each other.
I just want to do anything I can to get back to my wife and daughter.
So as your attorney mentioned, the bond is going to remain what it is tonight, and part of your release conditions does include no contact with minors. So if there's a minor in your home, you will have to find an alternative residence while this case is pending. If in the future your attorney feels like it's appropriate to file a motion to amend these release conditions, your attorney can do that. But at this time, you are not to have any contact with any minors based on the current circumstances.
Including my daughter?
Correct. No contact with any minors at this time, sir. With that being said, the hearing is concluded. I will have you step to your left and grab your paperwork. Your attorney will be in contact with you, okay?
Last question. What does that mean for, like, how long am I here for? You'll be here until that bond is posted.
All right, steps to your left, and they'll give you that paperwork. I appreciate both counsels appearing here tonight. Feel free to disconnect at your convenience.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good night.